In this episode of Jon's Arcade, we're gonna go back to Denver and we're gonna visit the one-up COLFAX Bar Arcade, which is different than the last one-up we went to. Then we're gonna come back to the table and do some viewer mail. All right, guys, let's get on with the show. Hey guys, we are in the basement and today we're gonna do a Jon's Arcade on the road, guys, and yes, this is going to be part number 4 of our little Denver Arcade Adventure series of videos. And in this video, we're going to be visiting the one-up COLFAX, okay? The one-up COLFAX. Now, this place is not the same as the one-up Lodo that we went to before in a previous video. This is Jordan's other barcade, okay? And it's called one-up COLFAX. And what's cool about this place is that it actually has a completely different feel than the one-up Lodo. This place is a little more heavy on pinball machines, okay? And they also have like a stage where live bands play. So the place has a completely different feel. And in this video, we're gonna hook up again with my friend Jon Exidy, and we're gonna go to one-up COLFAX during the day. The place will not be open. We'll have the whole place to ourselves. And we're gonna walk through the entire barcade and talk about every single game. And Jon, knows a ton about these games. He's gonna share his knowledge with us, and we're gonna just check it out. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. The condition of these games is actually really good, and they got a ton of really great pinball machines. Anyway, guys, let's hop in the car, let's get on a plane, and let's go back to Denver and let's check out the one-up COLFAX. That's right, the one-up COLFAX in Denver, Colorado. All right, guys, let's go. All right, guys, actually, before we go back to the basement, I want to show you guys the other one-up location. This is one-up COLFAX, and yeah, there's 2 of these one-up bars in Denver. There's the one in Lodo that we went to already, and then there's the COLFAX one, which is on the corner of Clarkson and I guess COLFAX in Denver here. But the bar's not open right now, but Jon and I are here. Jon's actually doing some work. Hey, Jon.
What's up, man?
Hey, man.
Yeah,
so what are you doing right now, man?
So basically doing some routine maintenance on the machines, going through them, making sure all the buttons work for tonight.
Nice.
Checking the coin necks, looking at the screens, make sure everything's okay.
So you do this like every weekend day?
Pretty much every other day. Actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, every other day I come in.
So you go through and test the buttons and stuff?
Every single one.
Do you really?
Yeah. So I come through here, what I do is I put a coin in each one, make sure the coin slots are working.
Yeah.
And then push start, play an actual game, hitting all the buttons. Once I know everything's okay, I move on to the next one.
Gotcha. Do people tell you when something doesn't work? Like, if someone comes to you guys and go, hey, Centipede, the trackball's not working.
Yeah, actually, we have a little list in the back.
Yeah.
So, like a little chart. And they tell us, hey, this pinball machine, the right flipper's messed up.
Yeah.
Hey, Tekken 5, on player 2, the kick button isn't working.
Gotcha.
Something like that. But you can't always trust that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to check every machine anyway.
Right. And is there one thing that you see? Is there one thing that it seems to happen all the time? Like, are you always doing the same thing over and over, like a button or a coin mech or what is it?
So here's the thing, man. The biggest thing here is people can drink and play games.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of games that have drinks spilt on them.
Yeah.
And if it's like a fruity drink or something like
a
that,
sticky thing. Yeah.
Basically what happens is the sugar ends up getting sticky and the buttons get jammed. One of the biggest issues that we have are coin jams. And just like with back in the 80s, you could never really prevent that. It's just the name of the game. You put a coin in there and then somebody else forces another one in there. Before you know it, there's like 20 coins in there.
Right.
And the whole back of it's blown out,
People ever put slugs in? Does that happen?
I haven't seen slugs, but I've seen a lot of Canadian coins.
Oh, Canadian?
Yeah.
It'll accept the Canadian quarter?
No, they get stuck.
Oh, they do?
Because it's magnetized.
Oh.
So when it goes in there, it gets stuck, and then the next quarter gets stuck. And
okay.
It causes a big issue.
But people don't try to like game the system with try to get free games or anything.
No, man. I mean, back in the old days,
put straws.
Yeah. I used to try that kind of stuff. Like drill a hole into it, put a string on it.
Yeah,
it never worked.
Never worked.
But this particular, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Never seen.
Well, they're all adults. It was kids that was doing that stuff in the 80s, right? So can we just like walk through real quick?
Sure, man. Go, yeah.
So
Over here.
yeah, let's just we won't do as in depth as a walkthrough as we did at the one up on Lodo. But yeah, let's just kind of walk through it quick. So there's Mortal Kombat 2.
So if you notice at this location versus the other location, we have less video games, but we have more pinball machines.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that, or?
We just kind of wanted to mix it up a little bit.
I see. Make this place a little different than the other one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what we try to do is we try to get like the big hitters in here.
Okay.
Stuff that's actually going to earn. I would love to have stuff like Major Havoc and iRobot and stuff like that, but let's be realistic.
Yeah, no one knows
who's going to play it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They're like iRobot, isn't that a Will Smith movie?
Right. So we have games here like, the best of the Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat 2,
This is-
Anniversary Edition Street Fighter.
I had this exact cabinet at home.
Yeah,
Is it
so-
Z-back? Yeah.
Yeah, the Z-Bash. Look at that.
Quarter in there.
It's actually not a quarter. Look at that.
What is that? Is that Canadian?
10 pence.
10. Is that British?
British, yeah.
Wow. Dude, I need this overlay. Do you have one of these?
But, no, I don't.
Mine is hosed.
You know who probably does is Kai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has all kinds of, Capcom stuff.
Oh, yeah. Because mine is just hosed.
That one looks actually really
That looks really good. Yeah, I have that same exact cabinet. All right, so Mortal Kombat 2, Hyper Fighting Champion.
This is like the Anniversary Edition, the one that plays just like at the one up.
Oh, okay.
Moto. It plays
So you think that's the best board?
Well, the reason why it's the best, man, is we have a limited amount of space.
Yeah, it's got everything.
It has everything.
Yeah. And then Tekken 5.
Tekken 5, which is, an awesome game and people love it.
Yeah, 1943. I mean, come on.
Both locations, dude.
Yeah.
People love this.
I love it.
It's actually an amazing game. It's fun, and it's just like super cool.
Is this a dedicated one?
It is a dedicated one, but this is a reproduction overlay.
Oh, it is. Okay. Rampage. Well, a lot of the younger guys like Rampage.
Yeah, you just beat up stuff, which is amazing.
Right.
And then I put these sticks on here because they're pretty reliable.
Okay. Do joysticks typically go bad on these games, or?
You know what, man? The game that we've had the most amount of problems with joysticks is Street Fighter.
Really?
Yeah.
Do people beat on it,
I
or?
replace them at least 3 times a year. People will spin them, and then what happens is they grind onto the metal here.
Oh, okay.
And they actually break off.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
So yeah, I've never seen that before.
Huh.
But we have Narc. We just.
I like Narc actually.
We just threw this in recently, and we had. I put an LCD in it.
Oh yeah, I see that.
It's amazing.
I'm not gonna give you shit about it. But Narc, Narc is pretty fun. Do you like Narc?
It's a pretty funny
It's
game.
a Eugene Jarvis game.
Side-scrolling. I love games like this, though.
I know.
Platformer.
But I remember when it came out, I really liked it. But like now, I'm kind of like, But when it came out, it was cool.
It's kind of amazing how...
It's a weird, like, anti-drug,
Right.
Nancy Reagan type deal.
Yeah, it has
Say no to drugs.
It's all over the place on that.
Yeah.
So we have a centipede here.
Gotta have that.
We have to have that, yeah.
And Joust.
Joust. We're trying Golden Axe out. I always like Golden Axe. It's
I think
basically
kids like that.
a dragon type game.
Right.
But with swords.
I think the younger guys like these kind of side-scroll beat-em-ups.
Yeah, they're amazing. Frogger, of course.
Gotta have.
Burner.
Another Tetris.
Another Tetris. And
Chicks dig that.
I think everybody digs that.
Yeah.
Tempest. It is an XY game. It's a little more maintenance, but
It is?
Yeah, but I mean,
Do the 6100s hold up on location?
I found that we've had them on location for quite some time.
Yeah.
Every 3 months we got to go through it. And
Are you
rebuild
serious?
them and stuff. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Every 3 months you have to
Every 3 months.
rebuild a 6100.
We even have
Come on.
We have fans on them and stuff, and they still break.
Oh my God. I can't believe that. Tron.
The same thing goes with the AR2, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we bulletproof them, and it's being on location, turn on for 18 hours a day, dude. It doesn't.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
So the power supply doesn't last either.
Nope. I wish we could put switches in them, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. But,
Gotta have Tron.
got a Tron here.
Galaga. You have to have Galaga.
Yeah. Galaga, Cubert, of course.
Which vid? I know that you guys told me that Frogger was the big one at 1UP. Is it the same here?
It's the same thing here.
Yeah, Frogger's is.
Frogger. And Galaga, guys love Galaga.
Yeah, and you got your little mirror scheme going on here too, huh?
What do you think of that? That's amazing, right?
I don't know.
I like to look at myself when I play, you know. So
Right. Well, what can you see? You can see your belt. Cuber. Hey, you got the swearing marquee in there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is the swearing marquee in the other one?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them's an original. One of them's a reproduction.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Phoenix Arcade did.
I think this one's a Phoenix Arcade one.
Yeah. I have that in mind too. I actually think it's kind of cool. You know, mine has the same kind of like little hickeys and shit, like little.
Yeah, the one that we had, I think when we first got this, it even had some imperfections, like some lines and stuff.
Mine did too.
You know what? Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
This pack.
That's a pretty good looking pack, dude. It's not really faded. It's got the typical hand wear.
It's a nice one.
The colors are strong though.
They're usually super faded, man.
Yeah, mine's definitely not that bright.
I've seen them with this part being white, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Mine's not that strong. That's good.
You know, the games here at one of COLFAX, by the way, people treat them a lot better.
They do?
So if you notice, they're in a lot better shape.
Why is that?
I think it's a different
crowd?
Yeah, different crowd.
Is it a little more mature crowd here? Or?
Yeah, it's also a different crowd and a more mature crowd.
Interesting. All right, so here's your Nintendo lineup. You got Super Mario and a Donkey Kong type cabinet or Popeye. And it's like it used to have a gun or something.
Yeah, it's a Versus, so it had like a Duck Hunt or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I converted it to Super Mario.
Gotcha.
Donkey Kong, of course, and we did put a high score save on this one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I think that's...
The Brazington?
Yeah, and I think that is like... Oh,
that's a pretty decent score. Someone put up 331,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mario Brothers.
Mario Brothers, and then next to Mario Brothers, Punch Out.
That's a wide body. The one at the other one up was a conversion.
It's a conversion.
Yeah. Punch Out. And then here's some pins. We got a bunch of Sterns.
Lord of the Rings.
You know, the place is closed right now, so the pins aren't on. But Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, AC/DC. What's going on with the eyes? What's going on with the eyes?
It's become a big trend in Denver for people to put eyes on the back glasses like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so you end up coming in here and like there's like eyes on.
What do you mean a big trend in Denver?
It's a funny thing, dude. It's like
who does it?
Who knows? Just guys that come in here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I've seen them on the Mario Brothers before. Look at Donkey Kong over there.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
someone took it off?
Yeah, somebody took it off.
So people are sticking eyes on the back glasses?
That's kind of funny, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. Wait, so you're not doing that?
No, we're not doing that.
You don't know who's doing it?
We don't know who's doing it.
They just show up?
Right.
That's kind of funny, dude.
That's pretty awesome. Look at that. That's hilarious.
That is bizarre, man. Sopranos. I kind of like Sopranos. I almost got one. Do you like the game?
Yeah, it's a cool game, man.
Yeah, it is. The stripper poles in the back.
And of course, Walking Dead, which...
And someone put the googly eyes on the zombie.
Yeah. And just like at the other location, this is our #1 earner right now.
It is? The Walking Dead?
Since I've gotten it like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
#1 since I got it.
Really?
Yep.
Just because people know the show, right? Is that what it is?
And I'll tell you something.
Is it a good game?
It's a pretty...
I played it like once. It was okay.
I played it a couple times.
Yeah.
So I can't give you an honest opinion about it.
Right, right. This is the pro version, right?
Yes, it is.
And I noticed you guys got the little DMD shield thing. The little...
Oh, yeah. We put them on all the games.
You do? Helps with the glare?
Yeah. You know, we get a lot of... You know, Colorado is pretty well known for having a lot of really good pinball players.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, you know, there's a huge pinball community here.
No kidding.
So what happens, we have to have all these games in top shape and make sure everything's cool.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
all those guys can play the games right.
Gotcha. All right, Iron Man.
And this is the original one.
Right, and One Up Lodo had the re-release.
The re-release.
Yeah.
That's the Vault version.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the original version.
Gotcha. And you got Spider-Man and Tron.
This is the...
That's the original release with the lenticular back glass.
Right.
If you guys see, it kind of like changes.
It's super awesome, man.
It is.
And, you know, I try to LED all the games.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. What happens is they're more reliable, they run cooler. And, you know, I'm not sure if you know this, but with pinball machines, the ones under the playfield with the heat, it makes the inserts pop up.
Right.
In time. So this way, it preserves your game.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's just less maintenance for you, right? You don't have to keep changing bulbs.
Right.
Because those last, like, virtually forever, right?
Yeah. I mean, we know we've had them burn out, but like, what, 1 or 2 a year, maybe?
Right.
Like that. It's the way to do it, man.
You know, Tron is a game that I really should have. Because I love Tron, dude.
They're not easy to get anymore, man.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty hard to get.
Huh. Everyone likes the game, I think.
Yeah.
I never hear anyone say anything bad about it.
But look at the theme, for example. It goes with the arcade collection.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, if I were you, I'd really seek one out, just because.
Sooner than later?
Yeah. You just don't see them, man.
Yeah.
It took me a while to find this one, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, maybe 2 years, something like that.
Huh. All right, so House of Dead.
House of the Dead.
That's a great dedicated one, huh?
Yeah.
I like that cabinet.
This is an awesome earner too, man.
Is it?
Yeah, and what's great about this particular one, this is kind of some nerdy shit I'm going to tell you, but...
nerdy shit?
Yeah, so this particular version, you could use the HAP guns on it.
Okay.
Which is a big deal because these are $75 brand new.
Oh, really?
House of the Dead 2, $500 each gun.
Really?
Yeah, so basically...
What's so special about the House of the Dead 2 ones?
They're special guns just for those type of games. So only like 4 games use those guns, like Jurassic Park, House of the Dead 2, stuff like that. Virtual, what's it called, Cop, stuff like that. And those guns don't work the same as these guns. So you can't replace them. You have to get the exact same type of gun.
Really?
So yeah,
and this is a HAP gun right here?
This is a HAP gun.
And these are $75.
Yeah, and it's brand spanking new. So if it breaks, you're better off just replacing it.
Yeah, exactly. And you got the skee balls again.
Yeah, we have 3 ski
I like that you guys have skee balls.
These ski balls are just amazing. People love them. Chicks love them.
Yeah,
love them.
Exactly. It's a good social game. Yeah, we're going to do a skee ball tournament later at One Up Loadout. All right, some more pins over here. You got South Park.
Yeah, South Park, awesome earner here.
Simpsons, which I love. I really do like this game.
It's a cool game.
And then Shrek. What's interesting about Shrek is it's actually the same pinball as Family Guy. Right. They were worried that the Family Guy theme was a little too edgy, so they got Shrek and reskinned Family Guy for the family-friendly locations. I think they had these at Chuck E. Cheese and stuff.
This is like the exact same layout and everything.
It's the same game.
You can even change the ROM in it, and it could be talking Family Guy while you're playing Shrek.
Is that right?
Yeah, and vice versa.
It's just a ROM swap.
It's just a ROM swap.
Yep.
Yeah. But they only made a few hundred of these. I'm not sure exactly what the number is. Maybe like 600 of them.
Okay.
But it's a pretty low number.
Yeah. And I was playing it earlier. It's got like the Smash Mouth. Hey now, little rock star.
It's a little aggravating after time.
Yeah.
But it's cool that it's there because I can tell you that kids can relate to it.
Yeah, exactly. I actually kind of dig it. I don't hate the theme.
No, the theme's pretty cool. I mean, those movies were huge, dude.
Right. And it's got like Eddie Murphy talking and stuff.
Yeah, it's a fake Eddie Murphy.
It is?
It's a fake Eddie Murphy.
That's not really Eddie Murphy.
No.
That wasn't like lifted from the movie? It was, they had a guy come in and do it?
Yeah, they had a guy come in.
Get out of here.
It's the truth. Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
All right, you got to have Addams Family.
Yeah, this game is awesome. You have to have it in your collection or on,
I know.
It's just the way it is.
I need that game. I should get rid of my Whirlwind and get this instead. I need to have a good Pat Lawler game, and I should have that one.
But what do these go for nowadays?
4 or 5.
Yeah. So it's an expensive game.
And the thing is, there's tons of them. It's the most produced pin ever.
You know what's even stranger than that, man? When I first started collecting in the 90s, this was a super expensive game back then.
Yeah.
And it's never really gone down. It's always been an expensive game.
Yeah. Because everybody wants it, and the guys that have it, they don't sell it.
Yeah.
Medieval Madness, which is, to me, a very special pin.
This is one of the best games of all time, I think.
I agree. I mean, there's a lot of hype around it, but it deserves it.
Yeah. It's number 1 for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a fun game, and the game itself is funny, it's interesting. I mean, it's just a super cool game.
Artwork is great.
This is an original one, of course, too.
Yeah. Are you getting the repro?
We are getting one. I'm getting one for myself. Mm-hmm. Whether I put it on location, pretty unlikely, I think.
Yeah.
Just keep it.
You gonna put it in your house?
Yeah.
All right. Attack from Mars, which I love.
Mars to me is almost as good as Medieval Madness. Maybe it is just as good. You know what I mean? It's just a different theme, but it's a super fun game. I like all the big open area and the long shots. And the game's super fast.
Yeah. When I first started collecting, I said to myself, I'm going to get a pinball machine. And this is the one I started looking for first.
Yeah.
Because my wife and I used to play this at a bar across from our old apartment. And I saw the prices. I'm like, okay, this is not my first pinball machine. This thing is stupid money, dude.
Yeah, this thing is...
Even back then, like 7, 8 years ago, when I was looking for one, they were expensive.
Yeah, this particular game...
I should have bought one 7 years ago, though.
Keep in mind, man, they only made 3,000 of these.
Is that true?
Yeah, so 3,000 of them, and think about how many collectors are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it drives the price up on a good game.
Right. They only made 3,000. I didn't know that.
Yeah, 3,000 of them.
That's weird. Monster Bash.
Another super awesome game.
It is awesome. And this is a pin that I almost got too. There's an operator that had one of these on location, and I've been talking to him trying to get it forever.
Yeah, I think these 3 games right here, man.
These are the 3 hottest pins.
Yeah, I think they're amazing.
Yeah, Monster Bash, Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness. I mean, that's what people talk about. And these are all the $10,000 pins.
Right. And how many places do you think in the U.S. have all 3 of them?
Right next to each other.
Right.
I mean, look at this. Look at this lineup, guys. Addams Family, I mean, the best pin of all time, possibly. Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, Monster Bash, Twilight Zone. I mean, that's it. Yeah. Those are the top 5, really.
Twilight Zone is one of those games that, I think almost every collector either had one or has one now.
Yeah. I mean, it's so deep, too. Like, compared to Addams Family, there's so much going on. It's almost like Simpsons in a way with all that layers of stuff that's going on.
This is the first game I ever learned about doing mods on too. I think this game, I'm not sure how it really works, but I think this is the game that has one of the most amount of mods.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Like the clock has a mod, and the Gumball Machine.
Little robots and stuff like that for it.
And then the Gumball Machine didn't have stuff in it, right?
So apparently it was supposed to originally, and then they cut it out for budget reasons.
Yeah.
So that's a mod where you could put the marbles back into it again.
And the clock, there's like a light up monitor. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So this is actually a prototype.
It is?
Yeah, and if you look at the white clock, it kind of gives it away. Only the prototypes came with the white clock.
Really?
Yeah, there's also other differences.
What does the clock look like normally?
It's like yellow with different colors and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is a prototype game? Where did you get this?
Yeah, so a collector called me up and told me that he had a Twilight Zone for sale, and I bought it from him. And he didn't even know it was a prototype till I got it.
Oh, really?
It even said proto on the ROMs, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you change the ROMs?
Yeah.
Is the code
latest ROMs?
Okay.
But I kept the original chips.
Just to have it.
Yeah, but there's a few other differences, like on the head, there's more colors on the side and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
The only way.
So is the side of the head different?
Yeah, it's you see the guy standing there?
Yeah.
The colors behind him are different. They're different on the proto than they are on
Yeah. Interesting.
And there's a few other little differences here and there, but I can't remember what they are right now.
So this is Metallica Alley, right?
Yeah, Metallica Alley, the Master of the Puppets version.
Cool. I've never seen this one. With what is this? A hammer?
Yeah, the hammer comes down and slams the ball into the playfield, and it pops up over here in the little coffin-looking thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it goes in the coffin, and then what? Like, how do you get it out?
You put 3 of them in there, and then it spits them out.
That's how you lock the balls?
Yeah.
That's cool, dude. So they only made 500 of these.
Yeah.
Do you like Metallica? I know, by the way, John's a big metal guy. Yeah. Do you want me to tell people that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, dude. But, yeah, I like Metallica, man.
Did they sell out?
Of course they did. You know what, man? In the 80s, they were huge, and I have a lot of fond memories listening to old Metallica stuff. You know? Nowadays, I can't really listen to them anymore.
Yeah.
But back in the day, man, Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All that stuff was classic.
Yeah, I remember I was in 7th grade and some kid gave me a cassette of Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
And it was it scared me. I'm like, this is not me. It was so.
The same thing happened to
me.
The
music seems so hard and crazy.
And angry.
And listening to it now, it really wasn't.
But what was there back then?
Right.
You were influenced by whatever you listened to, and that kind of stuff wasn't really on the radio.
Yeah.
So somebody hands you a Kill 'Em All, and you're listening to Four Horsemen or something.
Right.
You're like, what's happening here?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So here's another one up here.
Oh, that's awesome. That poster with Slash.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet, dude. All right, so Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, this is a new game we just got in. Actually, we just got it in the last few weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it did really well at the other location, so we thought we'd try it here, and it's crushing it here.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's crushing it.
Yeah, my friend owns a arcade in Cambridge, and he bought one of these too. But his arcade's really small,
right.
And it was a big deal for him to buy this.
It's a big footprint.
It's a big investment too.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap game, right?
Right. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. But he said it totally paid off for him too. This game kills it.
And you know what happens, man, with any gun game? There's not a big learning curve. You walk up to it,
you get it,
put a quarter in it, shoot whatever moves, and you move on.
Right. So are these guns? I mean, obviously these would be hard to replace, right?
Yeah,
are these reliable?
These particular guns are reliable.
They're badass, by the way.
They're pretty heavy duty, if you notice.
Yeah.
This gun right here, if you can see, it's brand new, actually. I just installed it a few days ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And what happens is people just tend to drop them,
Oh.
you know, or I've had people where people bang them into the machines and stuff like that. But believe it or not, these are pretty rugged, man. These are actually tough compared to those over there.
Yeah, I think it's badass too. It's cool
I mean,
as
you feel
shit.
like you're really doing something.
Right.
You know? You're like, yeah, I'm really, I'm really killing these dudes. But
Yep.
yeah.
It's totally cool. All right, so we got an NBA Jam right here.
Yeah, NBA Jam's a huge hit here.
Yeah.
Both locations.
That's a good-looking game too. It's
I've never
nice.
played a full game of one.
You haven't?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I happen to like that game. I used to play it a lot on the Super Nintendo. All right, and then you got a 4-player versus Pac-Man, and of course Simpsons and X-Men.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys got a great mix of games here. It's like the classics are being served. You got the 90s, you got the fighting, you got the pinball. It's like a perfect balance.
And you know what we do, man? We have a lot of games like in storage. So I like to test stuff out. So for example, that Narc that's here, we put it in and we watch it for a little while. If it doesn't do well, we just roll something else in here.
Yeah.
You know, let's just say we're sick of looking at Tron. We pull Tron out, we put a tapper in.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I like to mix it up because people like to look at new stuff. So we always try new games.
Right. All right, let's look at the bathroom here. So you got King Hippo here,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I love that.
Actually, Jordan thought of this himself. I mean, this looks amazing.
Someone painted that?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty well executed. 303 King Life. What does that mean?
I have no idea. 303 is our area code.
Oh, it is?
So maybe this is the guy that actually
Painted it?
painted it, yeah.
He did a really good job. Oh, here, Mural by Michael Coriano. He's got Mario down there. And here's his URL.
And
Michael Coriano.
That's cool, man. He did a great job.
He did a terrific job. He must have like really masked this off. Because it's like perfect.
It's sharp.
Yeah, it's like perfect. Dude, that's so badass. All right, we'll just take a peek in here.
Keep the light if you want.
Did Jordan go nuts in here with the artwork? No, it's just
No, not
graffiti.
really. It's all graffiti in here.
We're gonna do more bathroom tours on Jon's Arcade. Every time we go somewhere now, we're gonna check out the bathroom. All right, cool, man. Well, hey, I gotta get going. So, oh, I need that marquee, by the way. You guys,
I have a jump up.
you screwed it to the wall. Actually, Dean in the UK just sent me one.
Okay.
So,
if you need another one, I have one.
all right, guys, I think that's gonna do it. Let's go back to the basement. Jon, thanks, man.
Take care.
Later, bro. Let's go back to the basement. All right, guys, there you have it. That was the One-Up COLFAX, guys. What did you think of that place? Pretty cool, right? It was actually pretty awesome to be in there when it was closed. We did have the whole place to ourselves. So anyway, I want to thank my buddy Jon Exidy for hanging out with me on all of those Denver videos. He really showed me around Denver. I mean, I really kind of feel like I understand the Denver scene now because Jon is completely tapped in. So be sure to check him out. You know, Jon actually has a really good website. It's called arcadeclassics.com. It's like arcade-classics.com, something like that. And he actually has a price guide on his website, you know, the Exidy price guide. And so if you guys ever want to, actually, I've heard people ask before, you know, Jon, is there like a price guide, like an arcade price guide somewhere? Well, yes, on Jon Exidy's website, because he's been collecting forever. And he's basically a walking encyclopedia of prices because he's constantly buying and selling games, like constantly. And so he made a website called arcade-classics.com. I think that's the website, right? Yeah. I actually did the website for him. I did the template and then he filled in his data. But go there and check out his price guide. I think it's actually fairly accurate. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the Denver videos because that's it. We're done with Denver. We're not going back, at least not in the immediate future. But I have to say, we actually saw some pretty awesome arcade stuff in Denver. Would you agree? I mean, honestly, I'm kind of blown away, you know, because there's a massive scene there and a lot of high-end stuff. And Jon really showed me, I think, most of it. So anyway, thanks, Jon. All right, guys, so I want to do some viewer mails here. I always say males, by the way. Why do I say that? It's viewer mail, period. It's not males. I've noticed that I've been saying viewer males, and I don't know why I say that. We're gonna do some viewer mails. So I printed out a few viewer mail. Should I say viewer mails now? I printed out some viewer mail. That would be the correct way to say it, right? Not I printed out some viewer mails. No, that would not be right. Okay, anyway. So I printed out some viewer mail. And if you guys want to participate in the viewer mail segment, well, you need to email them to me. And you're going to send them to blkdog7@gmail.com. blkdog, the number 7 at gmail.com, which is blackdog7@gmail.com. And please, for me, in the subject line, put viewer mail. That way I can find them. So, all right, let's dive right in here. The first one is from Dave Drake. Hi, John. Where did you acquire all the spare parts that you have? I can see the monitors in many of your videos, and you always seem to have an extra power supply, bulbs, starters, buttons, etc. Do you actively look for good deals on stuff, or is everything just the remnants of the various machines you've purchased over the years? Keep up the great work, Dave. Well, Dave, where do I get my spare parts? Well, in the garage, I do have a collection of monitors. I don't know how many I have, maybe 20 or something. I don't know. I'll tell you this, a few years ago with the monitors, the writing was on the wall, I thought. I'm like, you know what? I noticed right away, early on, that the secret to this whole hobby was the monitors, okay? And it was very important to me to master fixing monitors, like right off the bat, because that's what I was constantly battling. When you get this many games, especially games that aren't restored, or games that you haven't worked on, and you bring them all into a basement and turn them on, what you're battling initially is monitors. And that's what I was doing constantly. I think it's safe to say that I've capped, I think, every single monitor down here. I'm pretty sure I did. And that's all I did in the beginning. I was just fixing monitors nonstop. You bring a game down here that would work for a month, and then the monitor would die. And then like 2 days later, the game next to it, its monitor would die. And it would just keep going, and I'm like, oh my God. And I realized just right away, this hobby is all about the monitors. And so I started hoarding them because I was scared. I was like, oh my God, if I need another monitor, if I can't get this monitor to work, what am I gonna do? I don't have any other options, if I hit a dead end. So I started grabbing monitors. Now I was lucky though, because I was going to some warehouses, okay? So about 5-6 years ago, something like that, there was a couple of local operators around here that were closing. Actually, the guy died. And he had a few warehouses full of arcade games and parts and monitors. And so he passed away, and the son inherited all this stuff. And the son wanted nothing to do with it. He was not into it. He just wanted to sell it and pocket the money. And so me and my buddies basically got together, and we constantly went to this place, like almost every weekend. And I was grabbing monitors constantly. I was grabbing cabinets that I didn't want necessarily. I would grab a game that I didn't even care about. It was a converted piece of junk, but I'm like, wow, that thing's got a Wells Gardner 4900 in it. You know what? You want $50 for this piece of junk cabinet? Sure, no problem. I'll pay $50. I'd bring it home. I'd pull the monitor out of it. I'd put it on my shelf, and then I'd give away the cabinet or sell the cabinet. And then, bam, I got a monitor on my shelf. And I did that a bunch of times. And actually, there was games on Craigslist I was grabbing just for the monitors. Like, I'd see a game for $50 on Craigslist that was a piece of crap that nobody wanted, but it showed a working monitor in the picture. Maybe it was converted to some weird JAMA game. I'd buy the game, I'd pull the monitor out of it, and I'd give the cabinet away. I think more times than not, I would give the cabinet away. Like on my Paperboy back there, I needed a medium resolution monitor. There was a NARC on Craigslist, I think for $50 or $100, something like that. I bought the NARC. The NARC wasn't working. It was a piece of junk. I bought the NARC. I pulled the medium res monitor out. I put it in my Paperboy, and then I gave the NARC cabinet away. So I did a lot of that stuff, okay? And then as far as like having bulbs and starters and buttons, I think you just kind of start collecting that stuff over time. Something like starters. when I go to the hardware store to Home Depot, you know, starters are inexpensive, you know, and it's something that always kind of comes up down here. So I would buy, you know, I would need 1 starter, I'd buy 4, you know, and then now I got 3 in my drawer. And then that would last me a couple years, and then I'd run out and go back and buy 4 more. So I do a lot of stuff like that. Same with bulbs. You know, when I order bulbs, you know, say this game needs a 161 bulb, you know, I had to order a box of 10. I only need 2. I got 8 more now. You know, so I do a lot of stuff like that. Same with fuses. I was sick of like not having the right fuses, so I go to Bob Roberts' website, I'd order like every possible fuse known to man. 1/2 amp, 1 amp, you know, 1.5 amp, 2 amp, 2.5 amp, slow blow, fast blow, and I'd have a bag of fuses because I mean, it sucks so bad when a game goes down and it's the fuse, and you're like, I don't have a fuse. And then you go to the hardware store, they don't have the fuse either, because it's some weird like 3 amp slow blow fuse, and Ace Hardware never has weird stuff like that. And then you order online, and you do that a number of times. You're like, this is stupid. Like, you know, I'm ordering 5 fuses at a time. I'm like, you know what? Let's just load up. Let's make a big order, spend $20, save on shipping, and now I have enough fuses to last me a while. So I've done a lot of stuff like that. You know, extra power supplies. Sometimes I'll order an extra one, or sometimes I'll have one on my shelf that was pulled from a game. It works. You know, I'm not going to throw it out, you know. I pulled it out for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe, like, you know, I actually, the golf game, okay, that the Journey was, you know, that had a switching power supply in the bottom. We ended up not using that, so I pulled that out. It was working, and I put it on my shelf. And now I've got a working switching power supply. So it's just stuff like that. And I think the more you collect this stuff, the more you buy stuff, you kind of get smarter about acquiring and collecting and hoarding certain parts, because you start understanding pretty quick, wow, I seem to always need this thing, you know. Why do I keep ordering the same thing like every 2 weeks? I should just stock up on it, and that way you'll actually save money because you're not paying for shipping multiple times. So yes, that's how I got all that stuff. All right, so the next one is from Dan Catola, aka Pac Dan. Hey John, I just wanted to thank you for all you do for the hobby and let you know that the videos have been great. Thanks, buddy. Please keep them coming, as they have provided me, and I'm sure countless others, the confidence to go out and purchase non-working games from Craigslist and eBay and get them back in working order and escaping the junk piles. I recently found a non-working, upright, dedicated Pac-Man and a pole position 2, both nice finds. The Pac-Man is just waiting on a few parts on order, and the pole position will need some board work, battery leakage, but hopefully nothing I cannot perform with your help and others on YouTube. I know the pole positions can be quirky from what I hear online, but I'm going to give it a try. Any further pole position repair videos you can do would be great. In case I do need board repair, could you recommend someone reputable? I hear a lot about Dick Milliken, but I don't think he is doing repairs anymore. I currently own an Asteroids, 2 Pac-Man uprights, pole position 2, and a Chex hockey. Appreciate everything. Best regards, Dan, aka Pac Dan on Vaps. Actually, this topic just came up on Arcade Outsiders this week. Because finding someone to work on the PCBs is actually a little tricky, okay? It's not easy, to be honest. The big place, I think, is El Dorado Games. I've never used them personally, but I know a lot of people that do, okay? The thing about El Dorado, well, they're a business, okay? They're not doing it part-time. I think this is what they do, okay? They're like an operator, okay? So they charge a little more to fix the boards, but I do think they are reliable. I think that they're honest, so you might want to consider reaching out to El Dorado. I do think they also do an exchange program, okay? So say you have a Pac-Man board that needs repair, and they've got a working one ready to go. They'll give you credit towards your broken one, okay? So go on their website and check that out. So you could send them the broken pack, they'll knock $50 off the working one, whatever it is, and then send you the working one right away. So if you go on their website, it's like El Dorado Games. Just search for that, you'll find their website. Now, I'm not aware that Dick Milliken has stopped doing board repairs. I don't know if that's really true. I will say that Dick Milliken is probably the best pole position repair guy. He's probably the only guy that's really doing that, or that I've known to do that. And actually, the pole position board that's in my game was repaired by Dick Milliken. Because my buddy Jay, who I got the pole position from, had Dick Milliken fix that board. So I think that you shouldn't give up on Dick Milliken. I would try contacting him anyway. Maybe he was backed up and just kind of turned people away. Maybe he's got some free time. I would try it. Why not? What the heck? And then the other option that I sometimes do, guys, and I'm going to be honest here about this. More often than not, if I can't get a board working, this is what I do, honestly. So let's say that I have a board that's bad, okay? Tapper, whatever. Let's pick something a little more common. Donkey Kong Jr., okay? Let's say that board is down, okay? And I've messed around with it. I've checked as much as I could check with my skill set, okay? I have gotten to the point where the board is beyond my capability, okay? So, what do? Okay, I've got a broken Donkey Kong Jr. board. I know it's the PCB. I've tried all the sockets. I've tested my voltages. I've checked the EEPROMs. I've done all the stuff that I'm capable of. And I've tried to deduce what's wrong with it, and I've just hit a dead end. I can't go any further with my knowledge. This is what I do. So I have a couple choices, right? I send the board off to get repaired. I pay somebody, what, $100 to do that? $125 to fix the board? Or do I just find a working PCB and I spend almost the same amount of money? And that's what I typically do. That's kind of my secret. Should I not share that with you guys? Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I've got a dead Donkey Kong Jr. board. There's 2 boards in the stack. Maybe this board's good and this board's bad. I don't know, okay? So do I take those boards, give it to somebody, and have them fix it, and then they send me back it for $125, okay? So now I have a working board, great. He fixed one board in the stack. I paid $125 to get that fixed, and now it works. Okay. Or do I take $125 and buy a working PCB off eBay, okay, and buy that? I research the seller. I make sure they have good feedback. I feel confident about the purchase. Maybe it takes me 2 months to find that guy. Maybe it takes me 2 weeks. I don't know. He sends me a working PCB. Now I have 2 boards, and I spent the same amount of money, okay? And now I have a Donkey Kong that doesn't work right. I put it on my shelf, and now I have one that works, and I put it in the game. Now, flash forward a year later, that board breaks, okay? Well, now I've got this board over here that gave me trouble before. I pull that out, and I know that, you know, it's a 2-board stack. Well, one of these boards probably works. So why don't we take a chance here and swap boards, okay? I've got a 50-50 chance I might fix it. And you know what? I do. Bam, now I just fixed that board with the broken board. You see what I'm getting at here? So that's what I do, okay? So a lot of times I haven't really gotten a lot of boards repaired. I truly haven't. I've used Dick Milliken a couple times for Radar Scope. Adam has helped me out a couple times. I have fixed a lot of stuff by board swapping. You know, if you have a game that has multiple stacks, I'll take a chance and buy a broken board on eBay that's multiple stacks, and I'll take a chance that maybe the stack that I need will work in mine, and I'll swap the stacks, and bam, I'll fix it. So that's kind of been my MO. But, you know, if you can't find a working board, or if it just doesn't financially make sense to do what I'm describing, then maybe look at Eldorado. You know, if it's a super rare board, you can't do what I'm talking about, okay? If it's a Major Havoc board, it's gonna be, you can't do that, okay? Because a Major Havoc board, untested, is probably $500, you know? So you can't really play that game. You're better off giving the Major Havoc to someone that knows what they're doing and paying them $100 to fix it. But on a common game, like Pole Position, you know, and Pac-Man, those are the games that you probably don't want to pay someone to repair. I would just be patient, wait for the deal, and grab a working board off eBay and put your broken one on the shelf and save that for a rainy day. Those parts on there or the boards in the stack might save your butt later. So that's kind of my philosophy on that. I don't know if you guys will agree with it, but that's how I've been operating. And it's worked out okay. And I end up with tons of extra stuff, and that's another way I get extra parts, you know. Like I bought just a ton of like broken MCR boards, you know, like the Tron and all that stuff. And those boards came in handy big time. I remember when I had my disc of Tron, it was flaky, and I ended up fixing it by swapping boards with the Tron, because I had a bunch of dead Tron boards and the soundboard was fine. I think it was I don't remember if it was a soundboard or something. One of the I/O boards. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Okay, so next one's from Joseph Travali. Hey John, I stumbled upon your channel a few months back while looking up arcade cabinets, and I have been hooked since. I recently finished watching all of your videos, and I'd like to thank you for the amount of work you put into the daily filming, editing, troubleshooting, etc. I'm sure I can speak on behalf of everyone watching your channel that we greatly appreciate all you have done. Well, thanks, pal. I've wanted to own cabinets, but with my lack of experience in the field, I've decided to take the safe, more financially feasible route of action and built the next best thing, a MAME pedestal. I know MAME gets some hate, but there are certain circumstances, space, cost, and experience where it just makes more sense. I hope you enjoy my setup. It's a little different from the others I have seen. There is a PC in the bottom with an iPack that connects all the push-button joystick micro switches to the computer. Take care, and thanks again for all that you do. Joseph from Toronto. So Joseph sent me some photos. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Why not? It actually looks like a pretty fun setup. I have to admit. Now, if I was starting out and had limited space, I think I would take on something like this. And this doesn't harm anyone, guys. You know, this is a scratch-built cabinet, okay? So he made a pedestal here and has an LCD mounted on the wall. That's probably a lot of fun. Look at the control panel. I could see having parties and people just totally digging that. So yes, that looks like a lot of fun. And it looks like a very tidy job there, right? Looks like that wiring looks very neat there. So good work on that, Joseph. I bet you that's a lot of fun. I'd be curious to see how the games look on the stretched LCD. Are they stretched or are they letterboxed? I hope they're letterboxed, because that would look a lot better. But you know what, guys? You know, if you have limited space, I don't think there's anything wrong with MAME. And what I've always said, I'll say again, you know, just don't destroy a classic game. Don't take a Tapper and make it a MAME game. Please don't do that. Do something like this. This is okay. What this guy, to me, what this guy did is great. He scratch-built a cabinet, put a computer in it, and put a modern LCD on the wall, and that's probably a great, fun setup. I know it is. And it's not harming anyone. It's not harming the guys that want the dedicated Tapper, the guys that want to restore this. So I think MAME is a great option if you don't want to get into this stuff, okay? I think there's nothing wrong with it. So Joseph, awesome cabinet. Thanks for sharing. I like the artwork. I'm glad that you use classic arcade artwork on it, because I've seen some guys that put like console stuff on it. I'm like, I don't get it. Why do you have like a Sonic the Hedgehog on your artwork? I've seen stuff like that. I never get that kind of stuff. Like, why would you put console stuff on your MAME cabinet? You know, kind of keep it, if you're going for the arcade stuff or the 80s, use this stuff, you know? Make a collage with that stuff or something. Anyway, next one is from Stephen Westbrook. Hey John, a while back I got a bunch of games from a buddy who owns a vending company for doing some work for him. In that lot, I got a reactor cabinet. Now that's a cool game with Rastan converted, which works and has the reactor monitor because I can see some Gottlieb burn in. I also got a Taito cabinet with 1942 in it. My question to you is, should I work to try and restore these? I have zero money, just some work time into the cabinet so far. This old game offers reproduction everything for Zookeeper, but I heard the board set is very hard to find. Should I restore the cabinet and do some kind of non-destructive MAME kit like you did with your Miss Pack? Just keep it ready in case I find a board set. Also, any idea on Reactor? Keep up the great work, Steve Westbrook. Well, Steve, that's a tough one, man, because I mean, first of all, I don't know. I'm assuming that the Taito cabinet was a Zookeeper, or is it just a generic Taito cabinet? So, all right, let's talk about the Reactor. So, Reactor is a very desirable game, super desirable. Okay, it's kind of rarish. It typically commands a big buck. Okay, so is that a game worth restoring? I think so. It's not going to be easy, though. It's not going to be easy to find those parts. It really isn't. I do believe there's been some reproduction work done on the side art, the control panel, and the marquee. Now, you'd have to research that. I thought I saw some people talking about that on CLOV. Does it have the original harness in that? That's kind of important. Otherwise, you'd have to find someone that's selling an original harness. I don't know if that harness is similar to Qbert or Mad Planets. I have no idea. So you'd have to research that. So you're going to have to find all those parts. Is it impossible? I don't think so. I mean, some people said finding all the Journey parts would be impossible. I managed to find them all. I think CLOV is going to be your best bet for finding those parts. You have to decide if you want to do it. I think it's possible. It could take you a year to find all the parts. But I think Reactor is a game worth saving. I think it's rare. And I think that enough people like that game that they're starting to reproduce the artwork. Same thing with Zookeeper. You know, Zookeeper is another mega desirable game. It is absolutely sought after. You know, that game typically sells for $1,500 or more. And it's one of the better, maybe even the best rare game out there as far as gameplay goes. So I would consider doing that. You know, you could buy all the This Old Game. I mean, a shortcut would be buy all the This Old Game artwork, which I don't know what that will set you back. Maybe $300 more. I don't know. Buy all that artwork. Is the harness still there? Is it missing? If it is, well, you got to find that harness. That's going to be a little tricky. A shortcut here would be to jammatize it. It might have JAMA in there already. You said it's got 1942, right? So maybe it's jammed already. What you could do is buy the Arcade SD board, which has Zookeeper on it. It's not perfect. The sounds aren't 100%, but it'll get you through. You could plug the Arcade SD board into your JAMA harness, assuming that's what's in there, and you could actually tell the Arcade SD card board to boot only into Zookeeper, and bam, you've got a Zookeeper cabinet. Not perfect, but damn close. And I bet you most people wouldn't even know it's not original. So that would be an option. That would be a pretty cheap way out. Buy all the artwork and the Arcade SD, and that's it. The Zookeeper boards working will sell for big bucks. The boards are temperamental. They've got some really problematic RAM and sockets and all that stuff. They use like 4116 RAM, which require like 2 voltages, and the sockets, there's like 20 sockets on there that go bad. So really the correct way to fix those boards if the sockets are bad are to replace all of them, and it's a big job. You could upgrade the RAM to 4164, which is less problematic because it only requires 1 voltage. So what you're talking about here is not impossible. The games aren't so rare that you can't find the parts. Okay, the games are rare, but they're not like crazy rare. I mean, these games were made, okay? People have the parts. You can find them. It could take you 6 months, but the stuff's out there. I assure you it's out there. So, Steve, you kind of have to decide if you want to do it. I don't think it's impossible, though, and I think those are 2 games that are worthy of a restore. I really do. I think Reactor is a special game, and I love Zookeeper. Oh my god, that game is so badass, and I love the artwork. Now, Reactor, I'm a little mixed on as far as the gameplay goes. I think the cabinet and the sounds in the game are just badass. I'm not convinced I like that game, though. I'm not convinced it's a good game. I used to think I wanted Reactor. I don't think I do. Would I turn one down for cheap? No, not at all. But I don't think I would invest personally a lot of time in restoring one because I'm not just nuts about the game. So maybe try to play Reactor and decide if that's a game that you truly want to have. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Are the viewer mails getting long-winded? I can talk, can't I? I just talk. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I want to thank Jon Exidy for having me in Denver. John, you really showed me around. It was a great time. And that's the end of the Denver video series. But don't worry, there's more on-the-road videos. I think very soon here, in the next week or 2, we're going to be focusing a little more on tech. Maybe we'll do tech and then some gameplay. I think maybe the next month, that's going to be the theme here. because I want to fix some stuff. I really do. I didn't have time this weekend. I was just kind of gone, and I just couldn't work on the 720. I just couldn't do it. So we're going to have to get to that next, and maybe the next video or maybe the one after will be the 720 monitor. I hope I don't sound like a guy that's making excuses, because I am, but I truly haven't been able to get to it. And when I did have time, I didn't have the parts or whatever. So I'm ready to go. I've got everything I need. I think we just need to carve out a Sunday or a Saturday and just attack that. I need to really reserve a good 4-hour window to really properly and hopefully fix that monitor in one video. That's my hope. And I think it's going to be a lot of trial and error, man. I'm not really 1,000% confident that we're going to get it the first time, but believe me, I'm going to try. And I pretty much have a game plan in my mind, and we're just going to attack it one of these days, probably within, hopefully, the next week here. And I want to do some other tech stuff, like rebuild the Mad Planet's power supply. And I do want to get back to the Jon's Quest for, because I enjoy doing those videos. Maybe a few guys don't, and I know a few guys do. So we're not going to abandon that idea. I want to do Jon's Quest for 100,000 on Donkey Kong Jr. and Jon's Quest for 300,000 on Donkey Kong. I'm thinking about doing a Centipede one upstairs. Would you guys like to go play some games upstairs? Because I've been trying to get like 60,000 points on Centipede on my free time, and it's not easy. It's really not easy. I'm sucking at that game, and I need to figure that out, because Centipede's a great game, and I need to get good at that. I want to get 100,000 points, but maybe a realistic short-term goal is Jon's Quest for 60,000 in Centipede. And maybe we can. Would you guys like Centipede's a good game, right? Would you like that? We'll go upstairs and do that. So maybe we'll do that soon. So, but anyway, I want to encourage you guys again to send the viewer mails, because I do enjoy that segment, and I have actually a ton of them. And I noticed that you guys are resending them if I don't read yours, and that's okay. If you want to do that, I have no problem with that. So if you feel that I missed one, because I'll tell you the truth, I've got a stack of them like this, okay? Like this, right? And when I do these videos, I usually open Gmail, and I admit here, I look at the top of the stack. I really do, okay? And I grab from the top, and that's what I do. And if you're on the bottom and I missed you, I apologize. But it's gotten to the point now where there's so many of them that I'm getting a little confused as to which ones I've done, which ones I haven't. And then there's ones all the way at the bottom, and I feel like, oh, there's no reason to look down there. Let's look at the top. And so I've been taking them from the top, and it's probably not fair to the guys on the bottom. So, and the problem is as they keep coming in, the bottom gets further and further down. So if you do want to resend them and send them back to the top, go for it. I have no problem with that. If you feel your viewer mail is really worth reading here, go ahead and resend it. I have no problem with that. Go ahead and do it and move it back to the top of the list, because I really have gotten an absolute ton of them, and I appreciate it. It's awesome, actually, because we got a lot of content here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I love it. It makes me feel good to see those viewer mails, and I love reading them, and I love just doing them. So please send them. Keep sending them to blkdog7@gmail.com, blkdog7@gmail.com. And that's it. If you've never subscribed to the channel, click subscribe. I release videos on Sundays, and sometimes in between. I really want to just be so consistent with the 2 days a week. That's my real goal. And if I can squeeze in a third one, we're going to do it. But I think 2 videos a week is good. Do you guys agree with that? Is that too much or too little? I know some guys, if I did 4 videos a week, you'd watch all of them. But can you guys keep up with 2 videos a week? Please tell me that, actually, because I'd like to hear some feedback on that. Is 1 video a week enough, or would you rather have 2? And is 3 too many? But I think I'd like to do 2. I think Sunday and Wednesday is like my target dates. Maybe the Sunday comes out on Monday, or maybe sometimes I squeeze it out on a Saturday, and maybe the Wednesday comes out on a Thursday, but Sunday's the target, Wednesday's the target, and maybe it moves just a day either way, but that's kind of my short-term goal here. But anyway, if you've never subscribed, click subscribe. I release new videos on Sundays, and sometimes in between I have 2 podcasts, Video Game Outsiders at videogameoutsiders.com and Arcade Outsiders at arcadeoutsiders.com. Those podcasts are live, actually. I do them live on allgames.com starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to listen, go to allgames.com, press play. You can listen to them live. And then, or actually also, if you can't make it live, don't worry, go to iTunes or Stitcher, search for Arcade Outsiders or Video Game Outsiders. So I think that's it. We're done with this video. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Later and bye.